22nd year. To have resources for something and support for something in an actual real way when everyone has so much going on always in education really makes me feel more confident and less worried about things that don't matter as much as the education matters, because that's obviously the point, you know, because everyone really is here to help. And so when the adults are mirroring what we want the students to be able to do, or when we're modeling it, that's even better. And so it is just good teaching. And if you can put the work in up front, and you have supportive administrators around you and supportive colleagues, I have felt even more supported, and so that leaves me to be a little bit more out of the box and not worried as much about year. For 8th graders, like when they start taking, by the time they get to 10th grade for their graduation requirement, I think more of them will meet it the first time. It's helped my relationships with my colleagues, and even more importantly, my mentors and coaches. And there really is so much more to this that is all about helping our students be successful. And if they work together, they obviously get more done if they're comfortable with the person. Now, there's just no reason not to, because if it were as much the norm as it could be and should be, we'd already be doing it even more.
My name is Tara Marcus. I've taught for 5 years now, and I've done teaming for 2 years. And out of all of the ways I've taught, it's absolutely my favorite. So last year and this year, I actually have 2 kids that are very similar, that they were very introverted and both on like the neurodivergent scale, and they didn't want to kind of participate. They were very shy, and both of them identically, almost at the same time, when we started teaming, they blossomed, and they higher level vocabulary and asking higher level questions, which is fantastic. Yesterday I had kids that were asking, where's your text evidence? I don't see your text evidence. And then they are also saying, I agree with what you said, but that's not what the question is asking us. So they're able to dive into these questions, able to pull text evidence. Same with math, they're able to break up these word problems, see what it's asking, and then also correct their errors, just working together.
Because it asked you which is bigger. You're comparing a half mile. So there's no two very much. So you're comparing a half mile with the
Like for math specifically, it has really helped us move. It's helped us move quicker, but in an effective way. So because we're moving productively through the math book and the topics and the standards, we're now also going to be able to review before we go to FAST. And so I really haven't found a group of kids that it doesn't work with, but it does take time.
This is my 16th year at Oriole Beach. If you've never done teaming before, you've really got to give it a chance. And I know there are a lot of teachers, because I'm one of them, who when we started I was like, I've been doing this my whole entire teaching. I have done turn to talk, I have done this, that, and the other. But when I started doing it more with a purpose and making them say the why, not just go, I agree. Well, that's not teaming. I agree. Why? Why do you agree? The kids are getting deeper into their thought process.
You got no words there. I need to see some words there.
A lot of teachers who've never tried it, they say, I don't have time. You do have time if you do it correctly. Mastery, and that's the thing I love about teaming, because then you are getting that mastery. That's what you're hoping for through teaming, is mastery. And I want them to be able to problem solve, be critical thinkers. And if they're being critical thinkers, they're creating, they're communicating, they're collaborating, they're doing that all the time in this classroom, I don't see how they couldn't perform better,
They're building him up. So yesterday we were talking in our teams, we were debriefing. It's like, okay, what went really well today? And he said, well, I think my team members are 2 of the nicest people I've ever met, because they always make me feel like I can do it. So I've stopped saying I can't do it. I'm saying I can do it because my team members are there to help me. Learn how to have productive discourse. They learn how to solve conflict and disagree respectfully. And the part of it that amazes me is, the scaffolding, as someone who scaffolds and differentiates every day like all teachers do. when it says on the back, I respectfully disagree, because that's teaching a child how they can share how they feel, but doing it in a way that's not going, well, you're wrong. Finding a way to team. Maybe it's not in every subject every day, but if it's not in reading that day, it's going to be in math. Because one, it keeps them on their toes and they know what they need to do, but also that's usually what their preference is. So we say we're being cohesive, we're all working together, and that's their goal for in their team. What are they bringing to the table to be a cohesive team member? So what do you think? Now that you've talked about it, you see your keywords. You think it's sequence now? Do you understand the difference between the two? Okay, who explained it to you? Joel. Good job.
But it could have been that.
I saw that you shared quite a bit today. That's really exciting.
Really good today.
He did really good today? Yeah, ladies, you guys were doing a great job as well. But I saw, can I see your answer choices? So there's not that fear of what's next. They know what's next, and they know that no matter what, if they're scared, their team members have their back. And that's a beautiful part of that culture that it fosters. That we are a family, we're working together, we're a team. And that sets us up for success in academics, because if they don't feel that they're supported by me or their peers, they're not learning.
My name is Dawn Rodman. I've been at WNIS for 13 years now. I started teaching back in the 90s, but I've only taught for about 17 years. Once you start it, hang in there. Literally try it, and try it from the cards that come with the SLAT training. And there are 3 main jobs. We have the facilitator, we have the learning monitor, and then we have the team member. And you can have multiple team members, and with that the kids are now learning what a job entails. What is my purpose? What is my job? And you stick with those throughout the whole process, so you're not switching the kids over and over. This is so that they now have the time. And as a teacher, once you get that part done, you're walking around the classroom. You're not sitting down necessarily doing centers and groups the whole time, because they're doing so much learning from each other that it's just amazing to watch. I mean, because that's part of the grit part, is if you can't communicate, that's language arts, and you can't work as a team, that's life, as well as communicating, you can't function as a person. And if you can't communicate and then think on your own, you can't function in the real world. And our whole job is to get these kids to be thinking critically, thinking about problems that are arising, and thinking about how things will be solved by them, because you have to put the rigor in there. If you give them the simple questions, it will be a failure. You have to give them the hard questions, but it's kind of, I tell them it's like a treasure hunt. I wouldn't be doing this interview if I didn't believe in this system, because that's not me, but I really believe in this, and I really think this is an amazing way to get that time back, get that excitement back, get those things back that, especially if you're a teacher who's been teaching for a long time, that you haven't had in a long time, because it's done it for me. So that's really, I believe in it, and yeah, SLAT works. It works.